Hello everyone, my name is Natalia Lauk and this is Playalong tutorial for Ecosaise by Ludwig van Beethoven. You can find this piece in book 2, Piano Repertoire, Development Artist Series by Faber and Faber, page 18 and 19. So we're gonna start slowly, but before we start, I'm gonna want you to just get a taste of this piece because Ecosaise is basically energetic country dance in duple meter. So and it's a line dance, so people would face each other, and that how would happen. So listen to that. So that's the beginning of this piece. So there's a certain humor in this piece, especially listen to the measure 4. So I would guess that Beethoven was mocking the musicians who couldn't get the notes right. But it's such an adorable detail, I think. Just bring it out, bring it out. So this A sharp in measure 4 is very wonderful. Okay, we're gonna start super slowly. We're gonna start with eighth note will be equal 60, which is gonna be a slow flag tempo, but it's gonna help you to get used to the big jumps in a left hand, right? To get used to those transitions smoothly, okay? So I'm gonna give you a 1, 2, 3. On 4 you're gonna go. So I'm gonna count in fourths and I'm gonna keep the metronome running. So I suggest you start with left hand first, okay? 1, 2, 3, 4. And forte. Back like the beginning, right? So I hope you were able to follow along. I think this piece is such a wonderful example of Beethoven's humor. So I enjoyed it very much, even though it looks like it's just for a beginner, but there are very few tricky places. Okay. So first of all, keep in mind that sometimes the phrase, the beginning goes like this legato, and then all the notes in the phrase up until the E right here with your pinky are staccato, and only E and D are connected. And again, you have staccato, staccato, staccato. So short, 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 long, short, 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 long. And in left hand, remember, you've got to keep track of change in interval. So if first you're starting 5, 3, then you jump here, then your actually interval changes for this one, measure 3, and then you back, and then you change in the interval on the very last eighth note of measure 4. Then again, back to this one, and the dominant chord, then another variation of the dominant chord. And then you have those jumping or walking octaves in measure 9 when you have 5, 1. And then what I recommend you is to bring your hand to the black notes faster after you played your thumb, and actually start doing it before. So you played your pinky, move it to thumb, and move closer to the foldboard. Then you automatically already closer to F sharp, and start moving. So you get your left hand is going to be like opening and closing like a fan a little bit. And there is a pretty tricky place for left hand in measure 13 when you have to play your pinky. Make sure to bring it closer to the foldboard, otherwise you're going to end up having like very awkward position like this. So make sure your pinky is really laying on the F sharp like this. And then remember, for playing without the strength, without problems, the next interval you just have to lift your weight like this. Do you see what I'm doing? I'm raising my wrist a little bit. 1, 2, and 3. Yeah, and then play this one staccato as well, because you have to jump after that. In measure 14 it's C, and then you jump into another C, and then play another one, the short as well, and then pinky on D, and then third again. Try to place your third finger closer to the foldboard. Another thing to keep track of is fingering. So follow the fingering suggested by the editor and Faber edition, because it's very helpful to have those suggested to you, and recommended fingering always makes your life easier, not harder. So for example, in measure 5, go ahead and take in right hand 5, 3, 2, 1, and then cross to 2, because it's very much easier to play 1, 1. Do you see how 1 is short? And if you try to play 1, 1, you will drastically like shift your hand towards the foldboard. It's going to be very awkward movement. But look how 2 is easily from after 1. You will very easily go to this one, and then it's going to be easy for you to jump to your pinky. Okay, we're going to increase the tempo. We're going to go, let's say, let me see, should we go 80? Is it not too fast? I guess that's okay tempo for now. Maybe 90. How about 90? But before going into this tempo, make sure you practice on a slow one and you feel very comfortable. Oh, and I forgot to mention that we're not doing any repeats in this tutorial. But if you're playing your playing it for examination, or you're playing it in your recital, I guess you should take the repeats and learn how to go from, for example, how to go from measure 8 back to 1, right? And the same for if you're going from measure 16, how do you go back to 19? So that's something to practice as well. So, but for now, for just time-saving purposes, I'm not doing any repeats, okay? So 90 per eighth note. Well, I still think that's maybe too fast. Okay, sorry for changing my mind. Let's go 80. 90, a little bit too quick. 1, 2, 3. Short, 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 short. Long, short, 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 short. Long. Short, 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 short. Long, short, 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 short. And forte. Accent and release. Accent and release on piano. And piano. Okay, I hope you were able to follow hands separately or hands together. I always recommend to work hands separately until you feel very confident, very confident, very comfortable, and then switch to hands together. So another details to pay attention to, for example, measure 13 and measure 14. Do you see those little like it looks like less than sign, but it's an accent, right? So what you should do is on the first beat, you should go up like this, and then you, in order to perform this accent, you have to bring the hammers and the piano faster to the strings, like this. And remember, it's not how much you press in, so don't press on the keys. After you made the hammer work and hammer hit the string, that's it. You cannot do anything to the sound, so make sure it's this. So you're freely dropping your hands, although maintaining the shape of the fingers like this a little bit, not curled, not curved, but arched like this, okay? And then your hand is resting freely. One more trick to make this accent pop is to make sure that your first beat is not strong, is not forceful, yeah? So you're gonna play lighter and then stronger, lighter, stronger. So imagine that there is a piano on the first staccato beat, and there is a forte on this one, staccato, forte on this one, okay? What else? I don't see any crescendo from measure 9 to 10 to 11, but I assume there is supposed to be crescendo. So don't start too big on measure 9, so otherwise you will have nowhere to go. But I would imagine, since it's a line length, like 2 lines coming to get like da da ding bum 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 da 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 ding bum 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 da da da. So I think that's just what would Beethoven imagine, maybe. So crescendo, crescendo. So that's my idea, okay? Now let's try if we can do allegretto tempo. So I would assume it's going to be anywhere between 110, maybe 120. Let's check it. Well, 110 is still a little bit on the slow. It's actually okay performance tempo if you're a beginner. So I would say 110. It's a good tempo for a beginner. So I'm going to record this one, and we're going to attempt one more in a little bit crazier speed, which maybe not very stylistically correct, but who knows, maybe you're feeling so brisk you will be able to go like 130. Okay, we're going to start 110. We're going to keep the metronome going to keep us both in check, okay? 1, 2, 3. You know what? I just discovered that I may have been making the same mistake on measure 4. I'm not sure if I was always switching my left to this interval. So if that escaped your attention too, go ahead, take a pencil, circle this interval. I'm going to do it myself so I won't miss it. So both times in measure 4, and the same thing happens in measure 20. In the left hand, you're switching from this one on the last 8th note. So I don't think I've been doing that. I'm sorry about that. Well, anyway, so we cleaned up some wrong intervals in the left hand. Let's see. We're going to perform it a little bit faster. And I'm going to set metronome on 2, okay? So on 2 quarter notes, that means it's going to go. That's too slow. Let's make it faster. Let's make it 90 per quarter note, not per 8th note. I like this tempo actually, and I'm going to leave it running, but right now the metronome is not doing the 8th note, it's doing the quarter note, okay? 1 and 2 and 1 and 2. Anyway, I really like this tempo. I hope you did too. So my suggestion, if you're moving in the faster tempo, like 90 per quarter note, move lighter, because you won't be able to, remember not to cling on the keys, because it's going to cost you time and convenience, and it's going to tense your hand up. So just keep it very light. It's like, feel like you flicking the keys. Flicking the keys. That means you're releasing every time. Get it? Okay, so hopefully that was helpful, and I'm looking forward to see you playing this piece.